Say shenanigans one more time. I dare you. What is that? Super Troopers? And then he's like, it's the butt of his gun. It's not a word you hear a lot, but when a state lawmaker says it, it definitely piques your attention, and that's something that piqued our attention when we saw what Republican lawmakers thought were shenanigans on the Illinois House floor late Friday. Got word of this because full disclosure, I was not watching late Friday. I called it a weekend. I was done for the weekend, but Saturday I did get a call from a source saying, hey, late Friday, the Illinois House abruptly ended after legislators were voting on things one after the other. Republicans used a procedural motion to verify a vote, and they found that there were Democrats not at their seats as they should have been, voting yes or no on legislation as they should have been, even though they were listed on the board as voting for it. So here's a little bit of what happened. I was able to go back into our archives and see this. And this was from Friday night, where you've got State Representative Patrick Windhorst making the motions to essentially expose that there were Democrats that weren't in the chamber, despite them showing that they were voting for legislation.
Because of his statement in opposition, our request for verification was not recognized, although it was made and heard by everyone in the chamber. So I am requesting a verification of the vote, House Bill 3957. Votes, and before intervening business, is it in order for any member that voted on the question to request verification of the results of the vote, and that has occurred. We have not moved on to intervening business. I've requested a verification. I would ask that proceed.
Representative Windhorst, your request for verification has been granted. All members will be in their chairs and vote their own switches.
Representative Buckner, is he here?
Please remove Representative Buckner from the affirmative.
Representative Crespo.
Please remove Representative Crespo from the affirmative.
DeLuca.
Please remove DeLuca from the affirmative.
Representative Stava Murray.
Please remove Representative Stava Murray from the affirmative. Would you like to continue the verification?
We have insufficient votes, so.
Mr. Speaker, the Republicans would request an immediate caucus in room 316.
So they tried to go to another bill. Republicans started walking off the floor, and then they abruptly ended session.
Adjourned until.
And then they came back today. They're back. Yesterday they were back. The House had a Friday deadline to pass a bunch of legislation, but they of course abruptly ended after Republicans showed that there were Democrats not in the chamber. And the morning after, you had State Representative Jed Davis. He laid out kind of what he saw, and again, calling it what he says are shenanigans at the Illinois State House late in the evening as they pass legislation.
Shenanigans, right? You're doing things that are completely under the cover of legitimacy. We demand a roll call of the vote. That means your butt in your chair needs to be there to say, this is how I voted. Let's do it. Demand the roll call. They did it, and guess what? The 63 votes became 62, became 61, became 60, because these reps aren't in. The ones that voted yes, they're nowhere to be found. They either left, I don't know if they voted their switch, or staff voted their switch on their behalf and they weren't even in the Capitol anymore. Absolutely unacceptable. This is what is happening in Illinois. And we need to expose this stuff because it is absolutely beneath the electorate of Illinois. And I just wanted to explain that. They'll bring the bill back, it'll pass when they're all there at like 2 p.m, but they're trying to shovel this garbage through when they don't even have the votes there, and then they're trying to do it in such a manner that is manipulative at best. And it is absolutely unacceptable.
So again, Representative Jed Davis.
This is shenanigans.
He calls shenanigans on what he saw happen late Friday. So, of course, the legislature is in this week. We'll be tracking that, and then they're off for 2 weeks, the following 2 weeks. So they may have some committees here and there, but there's so much that they passed, more than 400 bills that they passed before Friday, that we've got to go back and start really looking at a lot of those bills as they are advanced over to the Illinois Senate. The Illinois Senate, they have a deadline this week, I believe, to pass legislation, so we'll be watching all of that closely as well. All right, it is Springfield's Morning News. I'm Greg Bishop on 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk.